Miami Vice won't be seen tonight, so we can bring you a very special episode of The Gen X Files. Welcome to The Gen X Files. I'm Jim.
I'm Adam.
And today's show is all about Top Dog. We've covered a lot. A lot of things on this show the past 4 years.
A lot of movies we've loved.
Movies, TV, gadgets, what have you.
A lot of things we care about.
This is the absolute worst piece of entertainment.
We've definitely seen some bad movies. In fact, we just covered a bunch of bad movies.
Well, movies we didn't like. Yeah.
That weren't great. You know, I mean, movies either we hated, but more recently, movies that weren't great, get a little cult status.
Bombs, yeah.
You know, like at least Hudson Hawk and Howard the Duck could potentially have something good coming out of it.
Did not think we would cover something worse than Hudson Hawk, at least for a while.
Yeah.
But holy moly.
Yeah. This is going to be the only time, I believe, we're ever going to cover Chuck Norris.
Chuck Norris, I don't know. I mean, look. This is
definitely the end of his peak.
Career.
Yeah, well, I mean, he still did stuff, but
yes.
like this is definitely
this was the end of his film career.
The end of his film career. Yeah.
All right, look. You know, full disclosure, I haven't seen a Chuck Norris movie in probably 30 years.
Yeah,
I never watched Texas.
I think it's
Walker,
been
Texas Ranger.
I think it's been 40 years for me.
I remember enjoying Hero and the Terror because it was like a good B movie, and
well, even like the Missing in Action, it's not great.
Didn't like those.
Lone Wolf McQuade.
Lone Wolf McQuade wasn't bad, and then the one he did with Louis Gossett Jr.
Firewalker.
Yeah,
which was actually, and granted, when I saw it, I was like 8, but I mean, I thought it was really good.
But you would think, after doing so many films, that somehow he would become a competent actor.
Somehow better?
Good Lord.
Wow.
This makes every porn actor I've ever seen look like Meryl Streep.
He cannot deliver a one-liner to save his life.
And I would look into his past to see if he's murdered dogs. Because I have never seen a human being with less chemistry with an animal.
Yeah.
It's been Dog Month, dogs.
Yeah, a lot of dogs.
Okay, and we have 3 movies that are fairly similar.
Yeah.
You know? So, in each one of these movies, at some point, our hero threatens the dog with his gun.
You get so frustrated and so angry that you want to do harm to the dog.
Oh, I'm going to kill you, Hooch. Oh, Jerry Lee, it's time for a bullet. But my God, when he pulled his gun out and I'm going to kill you, it was like, man, he's going to kill that dog.
It was in the same shot with the dog. The dog was like, oh, okay. And then it's like, no. Everything about this movie is just so wrong.
This movie was actually watchable for the first, 15 minutes when we had Carmine or whatever that guy's
Carmine
name is.
Caridi.
Caridi with Reno.
Yeah.
Is that day? It was Reno, right?
Reno.
You know, that was like, okay, I could get into this.
Yeah.
Yeah, fat schlubby cop.
Yeah.
He got a cute dog who's real smart. Here's another thing, too. I know we have to get into this, but
I know.
The dog got shot, right? At the beginning?
Yeah. And then thrown into a river.
After being shot.
And the dog, apparently it was healing waters for the dog.
Because they never mentioned that the dog was shot.
It just all of a sudden, it cuts to Chuck Norris getting woken up. And then being told that's his new partner. That's it.
Oh, and he was hungover. Oh, boy.
Yeah, he liked to drink beers.
He likes his Budweisers. So at least they shot the dog at the beginning of the film and then not at the end like the other ones. That's the one thing where they zagged instead of zigging.
Yeah.
We didn't have... I'm positive. They were like, you know what? We can't shoot the dog because Chuck doesn't have the tools in his toolbox to do an emotional dog dying or hurt scene.
No way. They didn't even. There was no arc between them, no relationship arc. There was nothing.
No.
He just hated that dog the entire time.
And we hated him. And when the dog outshines your acting by tenfold.
Oh, at least.
That's probably why he was pissed, because the dog was such a better actor.
Dog was a way better actor.
Look, the dog was trained at Juilliard, so it did have credentials. But still, I mean, my God, the acting by him.
Yeah, it didn't help any that the script was terrible, that the direction was awful. It was shot really not well at all. It was edited terribly.
We've talked a lot this month and a lot last month about where films go wrong.
Right.
A few bad decisions, you know.
Yeah.
Hey, Turner and Hooch never killed the dog. That killed that movie. It didn't kill the movie, but
but it
kept
definitely
it from making $100 million.
Yeah, it could.
That's for sure.
Could have made 3 figures. Yeah.
But 7 figures.
7 figures. 100 million.
No, you're right.
Yeah.
But this was, every single decision was bad.
Everything. And it's not, I wouldn't even say that the decisions were bad.
Yeah.
I just believe that everyone involved in this production was horribly incompetent.
Oh my God. Look, okay. I've never been a huge Chuck Norris fan. Now,
Yeah, me either.
When I was a big Bruce Lee fan,
Yes.
I did like Chuck Norris.
Yes.
I was like, why is this weird surfer hippie
Yeah.
with his big old blonde shaggy do and his big old blonde mustachio?
Yeah.
Why is he fighting Bruce Lee? But look, the guy was great at martial arts.
Sure.
You know, he wasn't Steven Seagal slappity slap and can't lift his feet. Guy
Sitting
could
on a
kick.
chair trying to kick people.
Yeah, exactly. Just get chubbier and chubbier. The longer the ponytail grows, the bigger the belly. But this kind of goes counter to my whole hypothesis that acting is the easiest job in the world, because
no, it is not.
he's the exception that proves the rule.
Well, the thing is and obviously we'll get into this, but like I think that by this point in 1995, he had been working with his brother, the director, quite a bit.
Yeah.
He had been working with these writers. Like, he just surrounded himself with people that were essentially yes men.
Yes.
And I think that everybody got lazy. Super lazy. He didn't have to get better because he knew he could be in any movie he wanted to.
He surrounded himself with mediocrity,
Yes.
and it made him mediocre. And
It brought out his mediocrity. Yeah.
this is much like Eddie Redmayne. When all I saw was his
Jupiter Ascending?
Jupiter Ascending.
The greatest movie of all time.
This is the only thing I've seen Chuck Norris in since, I think, The Expendables, which was just a cameo, basically.
2014, I think, or 2010?
Maybe.
2010, something like that.
It was a while. The first one was a while ago.
But now, here's the other thing, too, and I didn't realize, is that when he made this movie, he's 55.
Yeah.
Like, I for some reason, I mean, this is 95, so, like, his heyday was, like, 17 years. He almost didn't really become super popular until he was, like, almost 40.
Yeah.
Like, for some reason, I thought he was much younger.
Well, Norris has been... Unfortunately, he, in my opinion, was chasing Arnold and Sly for his entire career, and he was just... He didn't have it. He didn't have it.
No.
I know everybody loves the Chuck Norris jokes and how tough and great he is.
Yeah.
Watch this movie. It's fun. Look, nothing against him as a human.
No,
I'm sure he's a fine person.
He's made some fun movies. I mean, it's not... Like, his early movies are good.
Everybody's dad loves Walker, Texas Ranger. Everybody's grampy loves it.
Yeah.
But I have not seen a worse movie in years.
Yeah. It's bad.
This is a seriously bad movie. Even the dog, which is super cute, can't save this movie.
No, it's really sad because the dog is awesome.
Yeah. But it's just surrounded by fools. Even the dog, you look on the dog's face, it's like, seriously? That's the best you can do, Chuck? I'm out of here. It's just shaking its head all the time. I've never seen a dog roll its eyes so much. Anyway, let's get into it.
All right, here we go. Take yourself back to 1995.
Yeah.
March 20th, members of the Doomsday Cult Shinrikyo carry out the Tokyo subway sarin attack, killing 14 people and leading to over 1,000 injured. The attack remains the deadliest terrorist incident in Japanese history.
Oh, yeah, it was crazy.
It was awful. I remember,
I sent them a letter thanking them for waiting a day and not doing it on my birthday.
That's good.
There's one more tragedy to throw on the pile on the 19th.
March 25th, American boxer Mike Tyson is released from prison after serving nearly 3 years for rape.
Yeah, people forget about that.
I forget that he actually spent 3 years in prison.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. April 19th, 168 people, including 8 federal marshals and 19 children, are killed at the Alfred P. Murrah Federal Building in Oklahoma City, and 680 are wounded by a bomb set off by Timothy McVeigh.
Oh, Jesus, man. That day was horrid.
Yeah.
Horrid. I remember just sitting in front of the TV and that whole thing about, we found a leg. It might have been his accomplice, this leg. And it was this whole leg gate. It was weird.
I walked in, I had a U.S. history class that was right after lunch, and I was in high school. And I walked in, and there was somebody explaining how the front of the building fell down. I had no idea what they were talking about.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, what is going on? And they were like, yeah, somebody killed a bunch of people in Oklahoma City. And I was like, what? And he's like, yeah, the whole building fell down, like front of the building fell down, all this stuff. It was bad.
Really good timing, too, with this movie and its plot.
Because just 9 days later, April 28th, Top Dog is released in theaters.
Top Dog is the most schizophrenic film, too. I mean, it has no concept of what tone is.
The tone is so all over the place.
It is everywhere. It's like they took every genre of film imaginable except for musical, threw it into a blender, and then mixed it all up, poured it on a piece of paper, and called it Top Dog.
They had the wheel of genre, and they just kept spinning it and go, well, this scene has to be a comedy.
Spin it again. Spin it, add something more, spin it again.
It says clowns. We have to put in clowns.
All right, it says Looney Tunes.
So, obviously, Top Dog begins and ends with Chuck Norris. The creative team behind Top Dog are all intimately connected to Chuck Norris.
Yes.
The story for Top Dog comes from Aaron Norris and Tim Graham. Aaron also directed the film, so we'll get to more of him in a little bit. Tim Graham is an actor, writer, and now president of a temporary staffing company.
Temps. I was a temp.
He actually started this temporary staffing company.
Good for him.
Yeah. He worked as an actor on Hellbound in 1994, a Chuck Norris movie about hunting down Satan's emissary to stop him from taking over the world.
I'm going to kick you, Satan. I'm going to kick you right in the nuts, because that's my signature move. I'm a nut kicker.
He has 3 moves, and that's it.
Good Lord.
He's got
the nuts. The drop-down kick.
The scissor kick, and then a roundhouse. That's it.
Man, he uses the nut kick all the time.
All the time.
Might as well call him Chuck Nut Kicking Norris.
Hellbound has the distinction of being Cannon Films' last film. If you remember Cannon Film, they made a ton of movies in the 80s and early 90s.
All of Chuck's movies.
Yeah. Especially after, I think it was 83 or 84 or something.
Yeah, Cannon was kind of the place to make action movie ripoffs.
Yeah.
You know, whatever Arnold and Sly and
anything low budget, big boot explosions, it was a Cannon Film.
Yeah, exactly. And anything that was kind of a ripoff of Missing in Action was a Cannon film.
Yeah.
You know,
that was his first with Cannon. Aaron Norris directed Hellbound, so it's safe to assume that Graham befriended him and they came up with the story for Top Dog together.
Ugh.
Yeah. Graham would go on to write a series of historical novels with Chuck Norris called The Justice Riders, about a group of Union soldiers during the Civil War that bring justice to the western frontier.
Are they true stories?
No.
Okay.
No, not at all.
You said historical novels.
Yeah, well, it's set in, historical periods.
All right, well, I thought maybe there was a grain of truth.
No, there is not. There's also a sequel to the novel called A Threat to Justice. Aaron Norris and Ken Abraham are also credited as authors of these books. Literally 4 people credited as authors on one book. Ken Abraham has also co-written a number of novels with Jim Baker, so take that for what you will.
All right.
I think he's like a ghostwriter, essentially. He probably does all the heavy lifting.
Looks like I got to take a trip to the library today.
Ron Swanson wrote the screenplay for Top Dog.
No way!
Nope, not that Ron Swanson.
From Parks and Rec?
Nope, not that one. Although I wouldn't put it past Mike Schur to have taken the name for the character from Parks and Rec from the screenwriter. I can't find evidence that Ron Swanson is an actual real person.
No way.
It could be a pseudonym used by Aaron Norris and Tim Graham or by Chuck Norris himself. In 1996, Swanson wrote the screenplay for Overkill, an action movie starring Aaron Norris as Jack Hazard.
Jack Hazard.
Which I actually started watching.
Does Aaron look like his brother?
Not really.
Is he a martial artist?
He's like 7 or 8 years younger than him. They look a little bit alike, but not a lot.
Is he handsome?
No. Swanson apparently had an acting role in Overkill as a character's associate, and the main reason why I started watching the movie to see if I could actually find Ron Swanson in the movie. I got so bored by the movie, I turned it off.
He had a big old mustache?
No, I didn't see him. Like, I didn't get through the movie. Also, in 1996, he wrote an episode of Walker, Texas Ranger, and the Chuck Norris movie Forest Warrior. Do you remember Forest Warrior?
Oh, yeah.
Where he's...
No, I've not seen Forest Warrior.
Forest Warrior was the one, we've talked about it before, where Chuck Norris is playing essentially a Native American and fights against people in the forest.
What?
It is one of the worst movies I think I've ever... I shouldn't say seen. I've seen trailer.
Did they dye his hair?
No.
So he's a blonde Native American?
Yes. It's weird. It's very weird. After that, Ron Swanson disappears off the face of the earth. I have no idea. As far as I'm concerned, he's not a real person.
He went to go work at the Parks and Rec department in
be-
Pawnee, Indiana.
Aaron Norris, the younger brother of Chuck, started as an uncredited stuntman in 1974 with Black Belt Jones, a blaxploitation martial arts film starring Jim Kelly and Gloria Hendry.
Nice.
The movie was directed by Robert Klaus, who had directed Bruce Lee's Enter the Dragon in 1973.
Right on.
It's a great movie. Klaus considered Black Belt Jones to be a spiritual successor to Enter the Dragon.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
He would work on Breaker Breaker.
I have to do that double feature then.
You should check it out. Robert Klaus, man, he's good. Aaron Norris would go on to work on Breaker Breaker in 1977, his brother's starring debut, but gained more notice the following year in Good Guys Wear Black, another Chuck Norris leading film.
Yeah, good guys wear black, not white.
Good Guys Wear Black would be Aaron's first credited role, and he gained notoriety by doing a flying sidekick through the windshield of a speeding car.
That's cool.
Ted Post, the director, would actually use that scene to sell the movie to distributors.
All right.
Literally just punched up Aaron Norris jumping through a car.
Hey, man, that's not easy.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, if I was a distributor, I'd be like, yeah, this movie looks
Show
great.
the money shot, baby.
Aaron would get a title bump in 1979, being credited as stunt coordinator on A Force of One, another movie starring his brother.
Another great title.
The director noted that Aaron wanted to learn everything and was a real asset to the picture.
You know, he should have paid more attention.
Yeah. In 1982, Aaron got his first associate producer credit on Silent Rage, also starring Chuck.
Another great title.
Silent Rage. Despite appearances...
Sounds like he's talking about like what kills middle-aged men.
Yes.
We have to be careful of silent rage. The quiet killer.
Yeah. Next on Dateline.
Yeah, exactly.
Despite appearances, he did work with others in the 80s that weren't his brother. He worked as a stunt coordinator for I, the Jury with Armand Assante, Whitewater Rebels with James Brolin, Chained Heat with Linda Blair, the dance film Breakin', Lies with Ann Dusenberry, and The Naked Cage with Sherry Shattuck.
The Jury was a movie I watched quite a bit as a child.
Oh, really?
Not a good movie.
Yeah.
It was like Armand Assante playing like, one of those hard-boiled detectives, I think.
Oh, really?
And it was filled with gratuitous nudity. And I think I was like in my,
Yeah,
puberty area.
You want to see boobs. Yeah.
So, yeah, that movie.
You watched a lot.
Parts of it. I
You
watched
watched
parts
certain
of it a lot,
scenes of
yes.
it a lot? Yeah.
Yes, that was one that, you circled on the Cinemax
your little
calendar.
guide, and you're like,
Let's hope the folks are asleep at 12:15 on Saturday night.
I think Chained Heat was the known because I think it's Linda Blair did a nude scene in it, but I'm not entirely sure.
Chained Heat, yeah.
Yeah.
It's another one I watched. It's a women's prison movie.
Yes, yeah. Chained Heat and Breakin' were the only two on this list that I've actually heard of.
Breakin', not as good as Breakin' 2 Electric Boogaloo.
No,
But,
obviously the much more famous sequel.
No, it's not.
Have to add that to our list of sequels that are better than the originals.
Back when I was a breakdancer.
Breakin' 2, okay.
I was.
yeah.
I had Laser Tag Larry and I carried around our own piece of cardboard so we could do our spinnies.
Sad news, they're not going to be bringing breakdancing to the 2028 Olympics in L.A.
Oh, well, I was training for it.
They did it once in Paris, and everyone goes, we're never doing this again.
Yeah, thanks, Ray Gun. God, that poor lady.
Australia ruined it. I saw the lady that she beat out in qualifying. She was really good. She was like their number one breakdancer. Why Ray Gun got it? I don't know.
Because she has a master's in movement, Adam.
She didn't get one single point.
0.
One
Which
point.
I think is kind of mean. I mean, she did a couple of moves that were okay.
Did she?
Yeah.
I guess you would know. You're the breakdancer.
I was quite a breakdancer. I was pretty good. My popping and locking was on point, my friend. I could never really spin on my head. I tried.
Oh, sounds awful.
But I could do the old leg flopping doppy do, spin around, shooba-doo.
Is that the official? Oh, wow. Okay. Wow, sounds like you need a PhD in breakdancing.
Electric Boogaloo, baby.
An honorary doctorate.
Hey, man, I don't want to sully it. It's got to be raw from the streets.
So in 1988, Aaron would get his chance to direct his first film, Braddock, Missing in Action 3, starring none other than his brother, Chuck Norris. Missing in Action started in 1984, tapping into the Vietnam vet fascination that Hollywood had in the early 80s, starting with First Blood.
Well, Rambo Part 2. First Blood, he doesn't go back to get the...
No, but the Vietnam vets.
Yes.
Like the whole Vietnam vet thing. Yes.
Yeah, yes, the turn of like not throwing poop on them and calling them baby killers.
Cannon Films were in financial trouble and wanted a new Missing in Action film. Norris says that he was not interested in doing a third film until his brother Aaron told him about the Amerasian children.
In Vietnam, there are 15,000 American children who are trapped there. Considered
Amerasian children.
Hey, I'm Chuck Norris. Do not correct me.
It's literally about the Amerasian children.
Sorry. In Vietnam, there are 15,000 Amerasian children who are trapped there, considered outcasts, living strictly non-existent life. So I started reading up on the subject and got emotionally involved.
The movie did not make its budget back and was a theatrical bomb.
But he saved all the children, Anna.
Yeah, the children. So we're not really going to go into the Amerasian thing, but most of those were people that were Asians that were raped and had babies.
Yes.
Like, that was the whole thing. It's just awful. The whole thing was
they were
awful.
not just raped, but abandoned. I mean, these guys just did their business and
then left.
We're
and
like,
then there were
that.
just a bunch of half-American children.
Like, well, not my kid. I don't care.
I'm going back home.
But there were like a lot of those TV movies and stuff where the knock on the door.
Yeah.
It's like, what's up, Papa Sam?
It's like in Night Court, the clerk, I don't remember his name, had an Asian wife that he had met in Vietnam.
Right.
And then brought her back, which he did it right. He actually married her and brought her back. He didn't.
Well, he fell in love, Adam.
Yeah. Anyway, that same year, Aaron would also direct Platoon Leader, starring Michael Dudikoff and Michael De Lorenzo.
Oh, Michael Dudikoff. Wasn't he like American Ninja or something?
Yeah.
He was another B movie.
Oh, bad. Yeah. He was not a good actor.
No, but he could move his bod.
It would make exactly $1,348,771 at the box office. It was criticized for being a Platoon knockoff.
Yeah, let's make a Platoon movie. Well, what do we call it? Platoon. It's already been called. There's already a movie called Platoon. Platoon Leader. All right, fine, whatever.
Platoon Guest? That doesn't make sense.
No, Platoon Wieners. Oh, that's a different movie.
Ironically, Michael Dudikoff would get some of the best reviews for his acting in this film, even though it was terrible.
Yeah, well, nobody goes to Michael Dudikoff movies for the acting. They go for the kicks and the flips and the floops.
It would be the only movie that Aaron Norris would direct that didn't star his brother.
Wow. His brother. I was really mad. That's how you direct a movie without me in it. I'm the star of this family. I'll kick you in the head. I'll kick you in the nuts. My signature move, the Chuck Norris Nutbuster.
So, Chuck Norris plays Lieutenant Jake Wilder. Chuck was born Carlos Ray Norris in 1940 in Oklahoma.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah. He was named after Carlos Berry, his father's minister.
Interesting.
He was the oldest of three brothers, the younger two being Wyland and Aaron. Wyland Norris informed his eldest sibling that he would not reach his 27th birthday. The prediction came true in 1970 when he was killed in the Vietnam War.
Wait, his dad said that to his son?
No, his brother said that to Chuck.
Oh, he said
Wyland is his brother.
So Wyland said that he was himself
Not
was
going to
die.
live past his 27th birthday.
Yeah, well, whatever. I mean, if he says it himself, he made it happen.
Yeah, well, he went to Vietnam. He died in Vietnam.
Well, I'm saying he probably was like, I can't be a liar to Chuck, so he just jumped on a grenade or something.
Yeah. As a kid, Norris...
Jumped on a Vietnamese lady and had a bunch of babies.
And then she stabbed him to death, yeah. As a kid, Norris was not like the action star we know today. He was non-athletic, shy, and scholastically mediocre.
Sounds like me.
Scholastic mediocre is still true. His father was a drinker that would go on binges for months at a time.
Nice.
Yeah. Embarrassed by his father, he became an introvert that lasted throughout his childhood.
Yeah, it's not easy growing up with a drinker.
No. Norris joined the Air Force as an air policeman in 1958 and was sent to Osan Air Base in South Korea.
All right.
It was there that Norris acquired the nickname Chuck and began his training in Tang Soo Do, an interest that led to black belts in that art and the founding of the Chun Kuk Do form.
All right.
Chun Kuk Do means universal way.
All right, thank you.
That was what he made up himself. After serving in the United States Air Force, Norris applied to be a police officer in Torrance.
Wait, he made up his own...
Yeah, Chun Kuk Do. He is his martial art.
Why didn't he call it Chuck Kuk Do?
I think at this point he was trying to not make it all about himself.
Okay.
After serving in the United States Air Force, Norris applied to be a police officer in Torrance.
Torrance!
While waiting for word on becoming a policeman, he opened his own martial arts studio.
My own dojo!
After losing a ton of tournaments, he finally started winning, leading him to expand his martial arts studio into a chain of dojos.
I'm finally winning. Let's have a chain of dojos.
Shortly after, in Hollywood, Norris trained celebrities in martial arts. Celebrity clients included
Steve McQueen, Chad McQueen, Bob Barker, Priscilla Presley, Donny Osmond, and Marie Osmond. Donny Osmond or Marie Osmond, man. I can't... Growing up watching the Donny and Marie show, it just seems weird. Them learning karate.
I don't think Marie stuck with it, but Donnie, I believe, was a black belt in like judo or something.
He had to be, because everybody made fun of him for being so soft.
Norris would appear in a minor role in the spy film The Wrecking Crew in 1968. It starred Dean Martin and Sharon Tate.
Oh, yeah.
It was Tate's last movie before her murder. If you remember Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, she goes and watches it before not being murdered. Spoiler, sorry.
She does.
Yeah. But I didn't realize that Chuck Norris was in. That was one of his first movies.
Yeah, man. You got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
Dean Martin's a good place to start.
It is. While competing in many tournaments, Norris met Bruce Lee, who at the time was known for the TV series The Green Hornet. They developed a friendship as well as a training and working relationship. The Green Hornet thing with Bruce Lee is also in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and it makes me wonder why Quentin Tarantino did not include Chuck Norris in his movie.
Chuck Norris! Yeah, I mean, well, let's be honest, the Brad Pitt character is basically Chuck Norris.
Sure. Bruce Lee invited him to play one of the main villains in The Way of the Dragon in 1972.
Hey, you can play one of the main villains.
Yeah.
I'll do it for you.
The movie would make over $130 million worldwide. While Norris continued acting, friend and student Steve McQueen suggested he take it seriously.
Yeah, he's like, come on, man, take it seriously.
He's like, dude, you're terrible. Get classes.
Never! I will never take it seriously. I'll kick you in the nuts, Steve.
Kick you in the nuts.
Shut up.
Norris took the starring role in the action film Breaker Breaker in 1977, which turned a profit. He took a second lead in Good Guys Wear Black in 1978.
That was the one.
Good Guys Wear Black.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember it being on. My dad loved it. No studio wanted to release it, so Norris and his producers four-walled it, renting the theaters and taking whatever money came in. The film did very well, shot on a $1 million budget, made over $18 million at the box office.
Yeah, man. It was a lot easier to... There was no home video, really, back then.
Yeah, if you wanted to see a movie, you had to go to the theater.
Yeah, and there was a lot of smaller theaters back then, too,
Right.
where you could four-wall it, where you could come in and...
Yeah.
You know, and that's also when movies ran for longer than, a couple of weeks. They could stay in theaters
They would stay in
months.
for months. He considers it to be his first significant lead role in Good Guys Wear Black. Following years of kung fu film imports from Hong Kong action cinema during the 1970s, most notably Bruce Lee films followed by Bruce-sploitation flicks, Good Guys Wear Black launched Norris as the first successful homegrown American martial arts star.
Finally, we got a blonde martial arts guy.
We got a white guy
we can root for.
Good Guys Wear Black distinguished itself from earlier martial arts films by its distinctly American setting, characters, themes, and politics, a formula that Norris continued to develop with his later films.
Well, you got to give him credit because honestly, there were not a lot of...
No, this was it. I mean, this was the thing where the distributors go, oh ho, hey,
Yeah.
we can make money off this stuff.
Every weekend I watch Kung Fu Theater,
Yeah.
And it was all imports and great movies by great Asian directors. And then you got to give credit to Chuck for bringing it to America. And the Dudikoffs and the
Yeah, he did one good thing and then drove it into the ground and killed it.
Yeah, he did. And then Speakman, he was another really bad. Jeff Speakman.
Jeff Speakman?
Yeah, he was another B-movie martial artist.
Wow. Norris would make some more movies that studios didn't want, but they did well enough that some smaller studios picked up on it and made money off of Chuck. In 1982, he had the lead in the action horror film Silent Rage.
Silent Rage!
It was his first film released by a major studio, Columbia Pictures. Norris plays a sheriff who must stop a psychopath on a rampage.
All right. Well, he played a lot of sheriffs.
He did. Shortly afterward, MGM gave him a 3-movie deal, and that same year, they released Forced Vengeance.
Stupidest name.
These titles are so awful.
Wow. This vengeance feels a little forced.
Norris was unhappy with the direction they wanted to take with him, hence the contract was canceled.
What direction was that?
I don't know.
A competent actor?
Yeah, they were probably like, you gotta take some classes, and he's like, no!
I don't need to take acting classes. I'm the best actor in the world. I'll kick you in the nuts.
The only acting he could do was convincingly kicking people in the nuts.
That's how he got all of his jobs, by threatening to kick people in the nuts.
There you go. That's how he got the contract canceled.
I'll kick you in the nuts if you don't cancel my contract.
In 1983, Norris made Lone Wolf McQuade with Orion Pictures.
That one wasn't too bad.
Lone Wolf McQuade. Again, such a great title.
The best, man.
He plays a reckless but brave Texas Ranger who defeats an arms dealer played by David Carradine.
I think I saw that in the theater.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice. I mean, that would have been around the right time. The film was a worldwide hit and had a positive reception from movie critics, often being compared to Sergio Leone's stylish spaghetti westerns.
Nope.
The film became the inspiration for Norris's future hit TV show Walker, Texas Ranger.
Walker, Texas Ranger.
Film critic Roger Ebert gave the film a 3.5-star rating, calling the character of J.J. McQuade worthy of a film series and predicting the character would be a future classic, and it would be the first movie where Norris would wear his trademark beard.
Something wrong with him. I wonder.
I just can't believe he gave it 3.5 stars. Like, that's insane.
Look, you better give this movie 3.5 stars or I'm going to kick you in the nuts, Roger Ebert.
That same year, he also published an exercise called Toughen Up, the Chuck Norris fitness system.
Yeah, he had a lot of stuff like, quit crying, I'll give you something to cry about, and walk it off.
Also in 1983, Zonox produced the video game Chuck Norris Super Kicks for the Commodore 64, VIC-20, Atari 2600, and ColecoVision.
Called Nutcracker.
It was called Super Kicks. Chuck Norris.
Well, it was
Super
originally
Kicks.
called Nutcracker.
The game combines 2 types of gameplay, moving through a map and fighting against enemies. Apparently that's 2 types of gameplay. It was 1983, so...
Well, you either move through the map or you fight. You can't have both. Well, we're doing it on this one.
The player takes control of Norris, who has to liberate a hostage. It was later sold as Kung Fu Super Kicks when the license for the use of the Chuck Norris name expired.
Okay.
In 1984, Norris starred in Joseph Zito's Missing in Action. It was the first of a series of POW rescue fantasies where he plays Colonel James Braddock.
Yeah, in the beginning of the mid-'80s, there was this whole desire of revisionist history for the Vietnam War. We wanted to take that loss and turn it into a win.
Yeah.
And so there were all of these wish fulfillment movies about Vietnam.
Yeah.
And,
Rah, rah, rah.
Yep, this was not one of the betters.
My best friend Damien, growing up, and we would call him James Buttocks.
Nice.
Colonel James Buttocks.
Yeah.
Produced by Menahem Golan and Yoram Globus and released under their Canon Films banner, with which he had signed a multiple movie deal. Norris later dedicated these films to his younger brother Wyland, who was a private in the 101st Airborne Division and had been killed in June of 1970 in Vietnam while on patrol in the defense of Firebase Ripcord.
Way to add insult to injury. Leave your dead brother out of this.
I know. The film was a huge success, and Norris became Cannon's most prominent star in the 1980s.
Golan and Globus. Those MFers ruled B-movie 80s. They took over for Corman.
There were some really good Cannon films. And there were some really, really awful Cannon films.
There were some okay Cannon.
They did. I want to say. I think like Total Recall was a Cannon film.
I don't know.
There's better movies in there than you realize. I'm just saying.
We'll have to do a Cannon.
I went through the list and I of course was like, I mean, they would churn out this crap.
Churn them and burn them.
It made money, but then they would sometimes do a decent, and mostly it was because they would get in like decent directors, or a decent writer, and then suddenly it would be like, oh hey, this movie can actually make more money.
I just remember you go into the video store, it's all Cannon crap.
Yeah. They were kind of the asylum of the 80s.
Yep. Yeah, there you go. That's perfect.
they would go as fast as they could producing movies and then just make what they could and leave.
Not as bad as Asylum.
No, they're better than Asylum, that's for sure.
Give them that.
A prequel to Missing in Action followed in 1985 called Missing in Action 2: The Beginning. Do you want to take a guess as to what it was about?
The guy's getting captured.
It was a prequel about him as a POW.
Oh, God. And then he escapes, and then he's got to go back, and then...
Both films were criticized heavily as being a preemptive cash-in on the Rambo franchise, with both the first and second Missing in Action films being released just months before the second Rambo film.
Right, and that was the one where he goes back to get the POWs.
Yeah. 1985 also brought Code of Silence, a crime drama about Chuck fighting the mafia, which gave him some great reviews from the critics. Roger Ebert gave the film 3.5 stars out of 4. Again,
what is up with him?
Chuck Norris fan.
Okay, I get it. Look, there are probably a lot of Chuck Norris fans out there that are listening to this show. Millions that are listening to this show.
And there's nothing wrong with being a Chuck Norris fan.
Of course not. It's just I never could.
No,
I never got it. I never got Chuck Norris.
Same.
He just seemed like, like I said, I enjoyed Chuck Norris when he was the white guy showing up in Bruce Lee movies.
Yeah.
But that's about it. It's just...
I believe it fulfills boomer fantasies, and I think that is mostly... I think you had to be a boomer to really be able to appreciate Chuck Norris.
All right. That makes sense, I guess.
I don't know.
We'll have to talk to some booms.
Well, the love affair with Roger Ebert and Chuck Norris ended when Invasion USA came out, a knockoff of Red Dawn, which gave him the absolute worst reviews of his career.
That movie is effing horrid.
Yeah, it's bad.
Oh.
It might even be worse than Top Dog.
I don't know, man. Top Dog is the worst movie I've seen in a long time, since The Terror Within Part 2.
Roger Ebert gave it a 0.5 star out of 4.
I don't care if he kicks me in the nuts. I'm going to give him a 0.5 star.
I really want to know what the thing was that gave him the 0.5 star. Was there one line that was good? And he was like, okay.
It was a decent scissor kick.
He only kicked guys in the nuts 45 times instead of 48, so 0.5 star.
Well, that's the problem with Chuck Norris and his brother Aaron Norris, is they were always chasing movies. They were always chasing the stars.
Everything.
And they made horrible, subpar versions of movies that people love.
Yeah. 1986 would bring The Delta Force, co-starring Lee Marvin. The film was inspired by the hijacking of TWA Flight 847.
Why you got to bring Lee Marvin into this? Chuck.
Lee Marvin needed a paycheck, unfortunately.
Lee Marvin. I love Lee Marvin.
I know. This was definitely the end of his career.
He's like the toughest MFer. There is no tougher guy than Lee Marvin.
No.
Choose nails, Adam.
The movie would spawn 2 sequels, Delta Force 2, The Colombian Connection in 1999, starring Chuck, and then Delta Force 3, The Killing Game, which was straight to video and starred Chuck's son, Mike.
Ugh. You gotta be bad when you can't even get Chuck for your crap sequel.
Yeah. It was bad. And that was in 93, I think. It wasn't... It's technically Chuck could have been in it.
Has Mike done anything else? I've never heard of Mike Norris.
I don't think so. 1986 would also bring the action-adventure comedy film Firewalker, where Norris starred with Louis Gossett Jr.
Yeah, I mean, look, Louis Gossett Jr. makes anybody look good.
Yeah, he's so good.
It's the reason why he won the Academy Award for that... it's not a soldier story. Richard Gere movie. Officer and Gentleman. Which he was Officer Gilman.
Officer Gilman.
Officer Gilman. But he was amazing in that, and he made everybody great. That's one of Louis Gossett. Look at Enemy Mine. Louis Gossett Jr. was an incredible actor.
He was.
You have to really, really try hard to be crappy with him.
Right. They played 2-season treasure hunters whose adventures rarely result in any notable success. Norris explained that the project came out when he wanted to show a lighter side of himself.
I want to be funny. No, I'm going to only kick people in the nuts for comedy.
It could be considered a knockoff of Romancing the Stone, The Jewel of the Nile, and the Indiana Jones franchise. This was also the first movie I ever saw in the theater.
Wow.
Yeah, 1986. I was 8 years old. My dad took me to the theater for the first time.
Nice. Your dad like it?
Yeah.
Is your dad a Norris fan?
He is. If he is now, I don't know, but he was. I mean, he appreciated him.
Everybody's dad was a Norris fan.
Yeah. In 1987, he published the New York Times bestseller, The Secret of Inner Strength, My Story.
Ugh.
It was about his self-improvement philosophy, which apparently does not apply to his acting.
Yeah, exactly.
By 1990, his films had collectively grossed over $500 million worldwide.
Crazy.
By this time, he had drawn comparisons to both Bruce Lee and Clint Eastwood, sometimes called the blonde Bruce Lee for his martial arts film roles, while his loner persona was compared to the Eastwood character Dirty Harry.
F whoever came up with that. You were no Clint Eastwood. I'm sorry.
No,
and you
not
were
at
not
all.
the blonde Bruce Lee.
No, he's a pale comparison to both.
Yeah, he's actually pretty pale.
In 1993, he began shooting the action series Walker, Texas Ranger. It ran for 8 seasons on CBS, airing 196 episodes.
Was that CBS?
Yeah.
Yeah, CBS. Catering to the old.
Of course. The show had a spin-off in 1999 called Sons of Thunder, featuring 2 characters from Walker, Texas Ranger.
I always get Walker mixed up with the Don Johnson one. The series he did. Because I keep thinking that Walker had Cheech, but Cheech was on...
it was the one that... I don't remember what it was called.
It was another huge hit.
It was huge,
that
too,
I never
yeah.
watched. But yeah, I know.
It was a much better show.
Well, yeah, I mean, Don Johnson's a great actor. Chuck Norris is not.
Sons of Thunder would air 6 episodes in its first season and then was canceled. CBS was afraid it was going to cost too much money. Norris also appeared as his character from Walker, Texas Ranger in an episode of Martial Law created by Carlton Cuse.
Okay.
Martial Law was the one that had Sammo Hung. Do you remember this? He came over from China and is in San Francisco, and he's a detective. And I remember watching a few episodes of it, really liking it.
Sounds good. I love
but it
Sammo Hung.
was Sammo Hung was like martial arts guy in San Francisco. After the show was canceled in 2001, they tried to bring the show back with a TV movie in 2005, but it did not garner the ratings that CBS was hoping for.
Now they rebooted it.
Yeah, they did.
With the Jared Padalecki from...
Oh, was it Jared Padalecki?
From Supernatch.
Supernatch, yeah.
Poor Jared. He gets that awful Walker, Texas Ranger reboot, and his partner gets to be on Boys.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's money. Money's money.
He's pissed about it. I think it got canceled, and I think he was real pissed about that.
Yeah. Chuck's last theatrical release was in 2012, making an appearance in The Expendables 2. He mostly just makes appearances as himself in TV shows now. He did try to make a comeback in 2024, starring in Agent Recon, which was written, directed, and starring Derek Ting, and co-starring Mark Singer.
The Beastmaster himself.
Yeah. It was sent straight to pay streaming. By the way, at this point now, Norris is 84. He's not kicking anybody in the nuts anymore.
No, he's the same age as my folks, or like pretty close to it.
Yeah. He will next be seen in Zombie Plane, the Australian action comedy. The plotline is...
Undercover Agent Vanilla... Oh, my God. Undercover Agent Vanilla Ice, who trained under Commander Chuck Norris, uses his skill set to dispatch a plane overrun by the undead before fighter jets can neutralize it to save humanity from a zombie outbreak.
Honestly, I kind of want to see this.
Word to your mother.
It's apparently supposed to be like a parody of all things 90s. Like it's a big thing.
Well,
we'll see. I don't
Vanilla
know.
Ice is a parody of all things 90s, so...
He's a parody of himself. Michelle Lamar Richards was cast as Detective Savannah Boyette.
Yeah, who...
Apparently was always off-screen riding horses.
Yeah, with her jodhpurs and her boots. I gotta point out, man, whoever was the costume designer in this movie was horrible.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that they literally just went and hit up thrift stores and was like, just put it on. Because the coat that Chuck Norris wore was so big.
Well, nothing fit. I think everybody had to kind of share clothes.
Yeah.
And then, they just put her in jodhpurs and boots. And
she wore that the entire time.
She had beige jodhpurs and she had some black jodhpurs.
Yeah. And some nice riding boots.
Great boots.
I mean, yeah. Richards is most well known for playing Whitney Houston's older sister in The Bodyguard in 1992.
Right.
She appeared in 6 episodes of the TV series Alien Nation between 1989 and 1990.
I love that show.
That was such a great show.
And that movie with James Caan.
That whole franchise is fantastic.
Yeah. Wasn't it James Caan and Mandy Patinkin that starred in the Orig?
Yeah, because was it?
Yeah, I think so.
I think you're right. Was it Mandy Patinkin was the alien?
Yeah.
Guys, I don't know if I ever realized that was Mandy Patinkin, but I think you're right.
I think I am.
Yeah.
There's no way for us to
figure
it out.
I don't know. We don't have technology. She reprised the role for the 1994 Alien Nation Dark Horizons TV movie.
Great.
She also had a recurring role on The Bold and the Beautiful between 1988 and 1990, appearing in 19 episodes. Her last credited role was in an episode of The Division in 2002, the show about 5 female cops in San Francisco, starring Bonnie Bedelia and Nancy McKeon.
Oh, all right.
She is currently taking different artistic director jobs for theaters, including in Paris and the U.S. Virgin Islands. Eric Von Detten played Matthew Swanson.
What a great name.
The completely useless little kid character in the movie.
Well, he was the grandson.
Yeah, the grandson of the schlubby lieutenant who had the dog. He really enjoyed the dog.
They did not have enough movie for this movie.
No.
So much like in Play Misty for Me, where we have a 15-minute dalliance into the
Hey, look at Carmel by the Sea.
Monterey Pop Festival. We got to actually experience the whole thing along with the stars. They did this whole bit where the grandson takes Reno to a dog show.
What was that?
And disrupts the dog show, of course. Oh, he gets the thing.
Reno's crazy.
And then there was something juxtaposed with that with Chuck Norris. It was really weird, too, that I can't remember. That none of it made sense.
The only thing I remember from the dog thing is that the kid was trying to find a hat and glasses for the dog. And it was literally like a fashion show.
Yeah.
And then he somehow was in a sidecar of a motorcycle and then just took off.
Well, and then he won something that he wasn't, and then they were chased away.
Yeah. It was weird.
That was the tone of this frickin' movie, man. It was
the whole thing was weird.
It went from dudes getting shot in the face.
It didn't make any sense.
To, like,
clowns
cartoon.
Coming in and shooting at you.
Oh my god! So yeah, the clowns come and it.
It's such circus music the whole time. Yeah.
And all of these like goofy pratfalls and stuff. Well, guys are getting shot in the face.
Yeah,
it's like pick a tone, people.
The whole thing did not make sense.
You can't pick every tone. Then there's no tone.
I was annoyed by the fact that they had like 6 guys in clown masks come out and just start shooting at the house when they easily could have walked up to the door. Chuck would have answered, and then they could have just shot him.
Well, then they wouldn't have had that 10-minute ridiculous thing. And then,
it's bad writing.
Kills them all except for 2, and then the dog gets one, and he has to go chase one, and and then when he finds him, it's like boop, 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 boop.
They fight, and he kicks him in the nuts a few times.
God, if you played a drinking game where you drank every time that Chuck Norris kicked somebody in the nuts, you'd die of alcohol poisoning.
It's true. Eric Von Detten started on Days of Our Lives, appearing in 55 episodes from 1992 to 1993 at the age of 10.
It's like 3 weeks is 55 episodes.
He was on for like 8 or 9 months, but it was because he was revealed as the secret son of 2 major characters on the show, so he was featured quite heavily during that time period.
Nice.
There's been like 6 other actors that have played that same character since then.
Yeah, well, that's just soaps for you, baby.
In 1995, when he was 13, Von Detten provided the voice of the villainous and heartless toy tormentor Sid Phillips in Toy Story.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. He appeared in a number of TV shows and movies until 2010, when he made a brief cameo appearance in Toy Story 3, reprising his role as Sid Phillips, who is now a garbage man in his 20s.
I'm a garbage man in my 20s. Sid Phillips, still going to get them toys.
He would retire from acting after this. He is now a sales manager at a commodities brokerage firm.
Of course he is. That seems like where everybody goes.
Yeah.
To finance.
Yeah.
Or they just, like, do cons, or they
Yeah.
open up casinos in Vegas.
Carmine Caridi as Sergeant Lou Swanson.
Can I just say one thing really quickly about the kid related to the horrible costume design?
Yes.
There's never been a more generic asexual 90s costume this kid wore. It was an oversized, multicolored sweater.
Yeah.
Multicolored hat backwards.
Yeah, it was like
acid wash jeans.
It was everything you imagine the 90s to be, that kid was wearing.
If you were looking in a Montgomery Ward's catalog from 1996
the old Monkey Ward catalog,
the hip teen section.
What's new for the spring?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's exactly what it was. Poor kid.
I also want to point out that I think that the kid was psychic, because in the climax of the movie, when Chuck is chasing down the bad guy through the park, whatever the park is called.
Balboa
Park. He leaves his house and then manages to go directly to where Chuck Norris is fighting the guy.
This is exactly like what happened in Explorers, where the girl comes from her house.
She just
and runs
goes
to the climax.
Right straight to where it is.
They must have just watched Explorers before they filmed that. Well, let's bring the kid back.
And I just love that the kid shows up, and there's literally a guy who tried to murder like 100 people.
Yeah.
And Chuck's just like, whoa, kid, back up. It's all good.
honestly, man, I kind of wish we did the show right after we watched it because that movie flew in and out of my head.
I know.
It
was awful. It was awful.
It was so forgettable, so utterly forgettable that when you were explaining that, I'm just trying to.
Do you remember him coming down, and then the dog is like, and the guy's like, "Get the dog away from me!" And then Chuck's behind him, and then the kid walks up, and for whatever reason, the kid's in the scene, and he's like, Chuck's like, "No, stay back,"
because he wants to kill him. He wants to get the dog to kill the guy because he killed his grandfather.
Yeah.
So he's telling.
Maybe that's not really how I read it.
That's how I read it.
I think he was
that's the beauty of this movie. There's so many different ways to interpret it.
I think he was trying to. I thought he thought that the Reno was going to get hurt or something, so he was trying to get the dog back. But he did realize that that's the guy who killed his grandfather.
I'm pretty sure we may have to watch this again, but I'm pretty sure this is like they make people watch this in prison as like
Guantanamo Bay. They literally make them watch this over and over again.
Please. The acting is so bad, please. I'll tell you anything.
I will give you any top dog. Any.
No more top dog.
Okay, so Carmine Caridi was cast as Sergeant Lou Swanson, quite possibly the best character in the entire movie.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's also... You open the film with a likable actor who can act.
Yeah.
Who has amazing chemistry with the dog.
Yeah.
You know, it's just kind of like... Oh,
that's too bad. He's like, I'm a police officer. I know, and then he shoots him. It's like,
in his members only jacket. Again with the, they have him in this members only jacket. It doesn't cover his holster. His holster's popping out at the bottom, looking like a schlub. He's trying to get his badge out of his tiny little pocket. He gets stuck in there. I guess they didn't have enough film to do a take two. It's just, it was indicative of just how sloppy, slapdash crap this movie is.
Oh, yeah.
Poor guy's like,
wait, but I'm a cop.
You want 5 minutes to get that badge out of your pocket, old man?
It doesn't matter. I'm going to shoot you anyway. Caridi's most notable film roles are Carmine Rosado in The Godfather Part 2 and Albert Volpe in The Godfather Part 3.
Nice.
He is one of 3 actors to play 2 different roles in the Godfather films, the others being Frank Severo, who played a young Genco Abadando in Godfather Part 2.
Your Italian is impeccable.
Thank you.
It's like I'm in the old country.
And a bystander to fight between Sonny Corleone and Carlo Rizzi in The Godfather. And then, of course, Sofia Coppola was the other actor to appear in different parts.
But she was in all 3.
She did. She played Mary Corleone in Godfather Part 3 and the infant son of Carlo and Connie baptized in the final scenes of The Godfather, as well as a child on the ship at the beginning of Godfather Part 2.
So she's probably the only one that was in all 3 playing 3 different parts.
Correct.
Pretty good.
Nepotism.
Should have stuck to 2.
Nepotism. Yeah. Well,
oh my God, that scene.
She didn't want to be in that movie.
When Sonny Corleone is beating the crap out of his brother-in-law.
Yeah.
Not only is that a great scene, did you ever see The Simpsons did a parody of that, shot-for-shot parody of that?
Oh, really? No.
When Marge got into bodybuilding, and she just beats the ass. It is such an amazing... It's so perfectly done, too. It's exactly... They must have, rotoscoped the scene, because it was just...
That's funny.
Amazing.
On January 13th, 2004, the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences announced that it had identified a copy of the film Something's Gotta Give, circulated illegally on the internet, as carrying markings identifying it as coming from a VHS screener copy sent to Caridi because he was an Oscar voter.
Isn't that Nancy Meyers movie?
Yes, with
Jack
Nicholson, yeah. It's bad.
Something's gotta give. Yeah, why are they putting that? Did that win any Academy Awards?
It was, I think they were trying to get stuff for the actors. Yeah. Similarly, unauthorized copies of The Last Samurai, Mystic River, Big Fish, and Master and Commander of the Far Side of the World were said to have been traced back to Caridi. The FBI began an investigation into the affair and later that month charged Russell Sprague of Homewood, Illinois with criminal copyright infringement. Federal authorities alleged that for at least 3 years, Caridi had given Sprague his screener copies of approximately 60 movies seeking consideration for the Academy Awards. According to the FBI affidavit, Caridi said that he had sent his screeners via FedEx to Sprague, who gave him FedEx boxes, pre-addressed labels, and an account number. Caridi denied receiving money from Sprague, telling the FBI he believed that Sprague was a film buff. Didn't see anything wrong with it.
Well, okay. Let me just, as a person who used to get these screeners...
Yeah.
You would, some people, not me, but some people that I knew that got the screeners would let their friends borrow them because they were movies that were still in the theaters. And You know?
I have screeners still from people from years ago that I forgot to give back.
Exactly. It's not uncommon for people to share their screeners.
But I wasn't copying them and selling them. And I think that's the difference, is that this guy, Caridi, thought that he was just like, oh, he's collecting
That's
them.
what I'm saying, is
Yeah.
I don't think Caridi was in on it. I think he was just like, this guy's a buddy. He likes movies.
Yeah.
I'm done with these.
Yeah,
I'm sending them
what
to
I don't
him.
want him in my house anymore. He's paying for the shipping. He's sending
Yeah.
me all the stuff. All I got to do is put it in a box and send it.
Technically, you're supposed to either send them back or destroy them.
yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, I had tons of DVDs from when I was a dues-paying member
Oh,
of Cinema.
yeah.
I'm in arrears.
Caridi and Sprague were sued by Sony and Time Warner on civil charges of copyright infringement. The studios filed the suit in the United States District Court for the Central District of California in Los Angeles, seeking damages of a minimum of $150,000 per movie, with hundreds of individual violations alleged. While awaiting trial on criminal charges, Sprague died of a suspected heart attack. Caridi was cleared of any wrongdoing.
Good. I mean, good. It's just bad judgment.
Yeah.
You know, it's not your fault that your friend's an a-hole.
Yeah. The Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences announced on February 3rd, 2004, that it was expelling Caridi for violating his agreement to safeguard their screeners, making him the first Academy member to ever be expelled.
Crazy.
Weird.
That seems weird, man.
It also seems weird that it took till 2004 to expel somebody.
Yeah, that sounds odd. There's got to be, like, scabs and stuff. I mean, I know people that... All right.
Caridi was hospitalized at Cedars-Sinai Medical Center in Los Angeles after suffering from complications due to a fall, where he slipped into a coma and died on May 28th, 2019.
Yeah, I heard the Academy presidents want to push him.
His final role was released posthumously, playing Uncle Murray on Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Oh.
Yeah.
How old was he?
I think he was in his 80s.
Okay.
He
Oh.
was up there.
I liked him. He was really good in the movie. I mean, he was the one kind of bright spot.
Yeah, I was like, hey, and I knew that as soon as it was him and the dog, I was like, oh man,
He's dead.
they're gonna kill him.
Well, yeah. You got to kill off the first dog owner.
Because he got to get Chuck Norris in it somehow.
I don't want a partner. Is this dumb lady my partner? I don't want girl partner.
I don't want a girl partner or a dog partner because they're essentially the same thing
It's
to me.
a dog. I don't want a dog partner. Kick you in the nuts.
Like, that's why he doesn't like having female partners. He can't kick him in the nuts.
No. Yeah, exactly. His superpower is null and void.
Clyde Kusatsu was cast as Captain Ken Callahan.
I love this actor. This
He's
is a guy.
so good.
He was in a ton of like World War II movies, usually playing the bad guy. But he also had a prominent part on Magnum P.I. And if I remember correctly, I think his character did impressions.
Oh,
Like,
really?
He would do like Humphrey Bogart and stuff, and he was just
Yeah.
kind of this cop who did impressions. If I'm remembering, I might be completely misremembering.
I remember him as a character actor that did a lot of comedy. And, like, he was funny. I remember every time he was on screen, he was one of those people that I was like, oh, hey.
And he played a lot of cops.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
I think he was a cop on Magnum.
Probably.
Oh, God, I love Magnum so much. I wish we were doing a Magnum show. And then when I was thinking about The Simpsons, I was like, I wish we were doing a Simpsons show.
Yeah, I know.
But no, got to get back to reality.
Doing Chuck Norris.
Chuck Norris!
Kusatsu has appeared in over 300 film and television productions since his debut in 1970. He's the secretary of the SAG-AFTRA Foundation after previously serving as a 4-term president of the SAG-AFTRA Los Angeles local and national vice president of Los Angeles from 2013 through 2020.
Nice.
He appeared as Kevin Williams, a grocery store clerk in Turner and Hooch.
He did!
He's so good. He just was like, you got to get this, you got to get this, you got to get this.
We can't make a dog movie without Clyde.
As his career progressed, he did what a lot of great character actors do. He got into voiceover. He does mostly voiceover now. He can most recently be seen in the rebooted Days of Our Lives soap opera. That's
All
right now.
Hey, I'm just glad he's alive and working. I love that guy.
He's still
love
working.
it.
I believe he's in his like 70s now, but he's out there.
70s or 80s, but
He's gotta be
yeah.
in his- yeah.
You know, I mean, maybe he was on Blue Bloods. Reunited with Mags.
Possible. Kai Wolf was cast as Otto Dietrich. Wolf is perhaps best known for his role as Lieutenant Colonel Yuri Voskov in Firefox, directed and starring Clint Eastwood.
It's a weird movie. Remember that movie?
Yeah.
Clint Eastwood has to steal a plane.
It was weird, yeah. And he also played the German in The Three Amigos.
Yes.
Remember one of the guys chases them down.
Yeah, he was one of the guys that was trying to kill our our three amigos.
He flew the plane. He was the one flying the plane, that's right. Since 1996, he has worked mainly as a voice actor in video games, such as Captain America Super Soldier, in which he voices Baron Strucker. His last credited video game role was providing additional voices in 2016's Call of Duty Infinite Warfare.
Right.
He's done a ton of video games. Occasionally, he also provides voices for German dubbings of American films, including Al Pacino in Scarface and Robin Williams in Man of the Year.
So he's German.
Yes.
All right. I hate when they...
Kai Wolf.
I hate when they steal culture by hiring non-germs as germs.
Right. Timothy Bottoms was cast as Nelson Hausman. Timothy Bottoms.
Yeah, I love Timothy Bottoms.
Nothing to say about Timothy Bottoms in this movie.
Well,
how Timothy Bottoms seems like he's in a completely different movie from everybody else.
Timothy Bottoms is a very interesting guy. I first remember him from The Last Picture Show, where he was brilliant. Both he and his brother, I think, were in that. I think there were two Bottoms boys.
Yeah, he's the oldest brother of actors Joseph Bottoms, Sam Bottoms, and Ben Bottoms.
Ben Bottoms.
Four Bottoms. Four Bottoms to choose from.
Ben's middle name is Dover. I'm
going to kick you in the nuts!
kick you in the nuts for that horrible joke. So Timothy Bottoms started as a very good actor.
Yeah.
He is so bad in this movie. He is so actively horrible.
He is so outside of everything else going on.
Every one of the bad guys... The direction in this movie is so unbelievably horrid. Everything. Editing, direction, lights.
I literally just remembered there are Nazis in this movie.
Timothy Bottoms with his wild hair. And is screaming. And it's like, it is what happens when somebody's like, oh, here's a respectable actor. Timothy, I'm just going to let you do whatever you want to do.
Yeah, you know what you're doing. You do it.
Yeah. He didn't know what he was doing. It was so insanely bad. And he's a really good actor.
He is.
But I think he had kind of lost his mind at this point. Yeah. I'm not positive about this. He is kind of a weirdo.
Yeah, he's definitely a weirdo.
If he wasn't, he'd probably work a lot more than he did. But, man, is he awful in this. And it's just heartbreaking to see because when you see a good actor do such an amazingly... horrible performance. He had to actively work at being this bad.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh man, even the dog is like, good Lord, what is going on with this guy?
He is best known for playing the lead in Johnny Got His Gun in 1971. He played Sonny Crawford in The Last Picture Show, co-starring Sybil Shepherd and Jeff Bridges, and as James Hart, the first-year law student who battles with Professor Kingsfield in the film adaptation The Paper Chase in 1973.
I'm going against Miss Kingsfield.
Yeah. He is also known for playing the main antagonist in the disaster film Roller Coaster in 1977.
Oh my God, that's such a great movie.
I've never seen it. I didn't need to see it. It sounds awful. And for playing President George W. Bush multiple times, including on the sitcom That's My Bush, the comedy film The Crocodile Hunter, Collision Course, and the docudrama DC 9/11 Time of Crisis.
He was really fun. That's My Bush was by Trey Parker and Matt Stone. Yeah. It wasn't great, but it was pretty funny, and he was really funny as Bush.
Really his last credited role is in an interactive video game, which was shot in 1995, was canceled in 1997, and then finally released in 2021.
Is he dead?
No.
Oh, okay.
He's just not acting anymore.
All right, well...
the interactive video game is fascinating, because it was one of those where they used real actors. They were trying to do, like, the whole, like, PC CD-ROM thing, and, like... There were a few other games that came out that way, and you would essentially point and click, and then actors would respond and all that.
I think this one was canceled because it was too, risque or something.
Yeah, it was like silk stockings or whatever. Like there was too much sex in it.
But it's so quaint.
Yeah,
you look at it now. There's
like
nothing.
Whatever.
It's like TVY7.
Yeah,
it's not even dirty.
Francesco Quinn was cast as Mark Curtins. Mark Curtins. I didn't realize his name was Curtins.
Mark Curtins. Curtains for you, curtains.
He's the SWAT guy who just randomly shows up, and literally Jim looks at me and he goes, "Who is this guy?" And then finally, after like 4 minutes of talking, introduces himself, and it's like, "Oh, okay, he's the SWAT dude."
Hi, I'm the SWAT commander. I am almost a worse actor than Chuck Norris. My dad's really disappointed in me.
Francesco is the first son of Oscar winner Anthony Quinn and costume designer Iolanda Adolori, Anthony Quinn's second wife.
Out of a million. And also, Anthony Quinn had a child in his 80s.
Yeah, he did.
Could you imagine being this guy and you have Well, I think he might have been dead by then. But
well, no, probably not.
But you're like 45.
And your dad's having a kid.
Hey, I just had a baby. Come meet your baby brother.
Francesco is perhaps best known for his breakout role as Ra in Oliver Stone's Academy Award-winning Platoon in 1986.
Yes.
He was good in that.
He was good. Okay, I thought he was the guy who got his arms blown off, but that's a different actor.
No. His final film role was voicing a Transformer in Transformers Dark of the Moon in 2011. Sadly, he died on August 5th, 2011 in Malibu after experiencing what was believed to be a heart attack while running up a street with his children near his home at the age of 48.
No!
That sucks.
That is the most tragic sentence you've spoken on the show, I think.
So awful. I cannot... Oh, man. That just hurts me.
These poor kids. Watching your parent die is very... it F's you up.
Yeah. Bad news. So I believe that Reno, despite being credited as Reno, were played by two dogs called Digby and Betty. I don't have any other information about them. He's just credited as Reno.
What kind of dog?
He was a Briard.
Will you look this up?
I did. A Briard, which I was like, there's no way that this dog would be a police dog.
Yeah.
He's too shaggy. He's too whatever. But... funny enough, Briards are well known for being police dogs.
Yeah.
They're French.
Yes.
So my guess is they're probably used more in France. But apparently the dogs are very intelligent and have really good memories.
Most of them smoke, which is, kind of off-putting here, but it's cultural.
A little too many cappuccinos, but...
The funniest thing about this is, as we were listening to the horrible vocalizations of the dog, I made an off-putting, passing joke. That's probably Frank Welker.
Yeah. And I was like, there's no way.
No way.
There is
so
no
bad.
way. Because the vocalizations for the dog were not good. It was just a lot of... I shouldn't say they were bad. There was just way too many of them. They were unnecessary. Mm-hmm. And you know that Aaron Norris was like, well, we should get somebody in to do noises for the dog. And who was it?
It was Frank!
Frank Welker, the very last credit in the cast, and both of us were just like, what?
Because didn't he do the dog on something on...
Yeah, he's done... Yeah, he was
the dog in Mars Attacks, right?
Yeah, he did the vocalizations for the dog. He did... he was doing Scooby-Doo and, all that stuff at this point.
Yeah, but Scooby-Doo's not like a real dog.
No, I know. But he had done a bunch of he's probably appeared in more movies we've talked about than even we realize.
It's just crazy. It was the same kind of joke as when we were watching Oh Heavenly Dog, and I'm like, it's probably Paul McCartney wings. And it was! Yeah. So, I'm a prophetic jokester.
So shooting took place in San Diego.
Woo!
Yay! When the filmmakers wanted to shoot in a residential area of Point Loma, they solicited support from residents by inviting them to the shoot.
And they're all like, nope, get out of our town, you awful filmmakers.
We all thought Chuck Norris was dead.
Hey, stop it. I'm still alive.
For the first time in 53 years, San Diego officials opened the famed Balboa Park Bell Tower to shoot several scenes.
Oh, thank God.
The tower hadn't been used since it appeared in Orson Welles' Citizen Kane in 1941.
Well, this is basically the same movie.
This is essentially as good as Citizen Kane.
It sure is. This is the Citizen Kane of dog movies.
You know that Aaron Norris walked around the production office going, hey, man.
First time shooting since Citizen Kane.
Citizen Kane.
They wouldn't let anybody shoot her since Citizen Kane. So
we're as good as Citizen Kane.
Let's get those Oscar screeners ready. Just don't give them to
Carmine,
because he'll pirate them.
So the film opened just 9 days after the bombing of the Alfred P. Murrah Federal Building in Oklahoma City.
Okay, let's just, for context, the plot of this insanely stupid movie are these white supremacists.
Nazis.
Sure. Some.
Like
there were a bunch of hate groups
white
that were coming together.
And stuff,
And they were
having unity.
Yes. And it's all brought together with hate. So they, as Nazi organizations are wont to do, were coming into San Diego to bomb this unity
and shoot everybody. Like they were gonna literally just massacre.
Yeah.
All these unity, like the Pope, and
was
it
it the Pope or was it
I think it was a cardinal,
a bishop?
Because it also looked like Desmond Tutu, but I don't think it was him either.
Well, yes, they had their very stereotypical unity people.
Yeah,
they
collection
had
of various
the rabbi,
religions,
the popey, the Desmond Tutu looking guy.
An imam or something.
Yes.
Like it was, yeah.
It was all very racist. And
very stereotypically racist.
yes. So the whole point was they were going to blow this thing up and shoot everybody. And then they quote saved the day because they still blow everything up and ruin all the stuff. It's
my God,
they couldn't have
everything.
had the thing there.
They made sure that they destroyed everything in
The good guys.
Balboa Park. Yes,
The good guys.
They were shooting stuff. They would. How many times did a guy get shot up in the rafters, in the risers, and then they would fall down onto a table or something?
Oh, Aaron Norris loves his strategically placed tables of fruit and stuff because there's so many tables of fruit at these kind of
This is
functions.
how you know he was a stunt coordinator first, because he's got to include all of it.
So, yeah, very kind of similar to the whole Oklahoma City bombing sitch.
Yeah, it was and technically, although I thought that the Oklahoma City bombing took place on April 20th, it did not.
No.
It was April 19th. The one in the movie took place on April 20th because it was Hitler's
Hitler's
birthday.
birthday.
As pointed out by Chuck Norris's mother in the movie.
Hi, honey. Oh, what are they doing it on Hitler's birthday? Did you get your Hitler's birthday shopping done? Here's your Hitler's birthday presents.
By the way, I don't think she was credited in this movie at all. I did not find any information about the mother.
Whatever it was Chuck's real mom.
She looked familiar. Like, she looked like she was I mean, maybe.
There was another.
It didn't matter.
Okay, so that's what happened. While the kid was doing all that crap with the dog at the dog show, Chuck was with his mom.
With his mom.
Sitting on a tree.
Sitting on the... Oh, that's right. He's digging... Why is he digging a hole? I don't know.
He brought all these little bulbs over for his mom, and then somehow she also had a tree. It just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, the whole thing with his mom didn't make any sense.
It's just so dumb. I mean...
It was so dumb. And him sitting on the counter. You're 55, dude.
Eating a banana.
Get off the counter.
Nobody wants you on a banana, counter eating a banana.
Look how much of a loner you are. You're such a rebel.
Hey, Mom. Can I have some bananas? I'm going to charge you for those bananas.
It's just so bad. It was so bad. Okay, so the plot, obviously, we were just saying, militant white supremacists that wanted to detonate a bomb in a public place, along with shooting people. I mean, that was the big thing. They had a whole dry run where they had stuff set up, like cutout set up, and they had all shoot it. And then the main Kai Wolf got really mad when they didn't shoot one of them in the head.
Timothy Bottoms.
Yeah.
Came and shot him. Could show him how it's done.
So stupid.
This wild, crazy hair.
So the movie in Oklahoma on opening night took in about $300.
Yeah, really? You think
Shocker.
people were like not into that?
Yeah. The distributors were forced to release a statement disassociating the film from the real-life incident.
Push back the release 6 months. You're not going to make any money.
All you had to
It's
do.
stupid of you.
They had considered it, and then they didn't. At that point, they were like, "No, we're too deep in," and it was it.
Well, you just shot yourselves in the foot.
It opened at number 8 on the North American box office. It would garner $5.1 million from a $6 million budget. Rotten Tomatoes reports that 0% of 8 surveyed critics gave the film a positive review. The average rating is 1.8 out of 10.
Out of 10!
Out of 10.
Not even a 2 out of 10.
One of the worst reviewed movies on Rotten Tomatoes. It was criticized for being too similar to K-9 and Turner and Hooch, both movies that are so much better.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. This is the worst movie I've seen in the longest time. The caliber of acting that Chuck Norris does, I can't even fathom how they rolled film on that and then yelled, cut, print, that's a good one.
Well, yeah, it was his brother. You're surrounded by yes men. This is what happens.
He was...
that was really good, Chuck. It was really good.
We have to do another Chuck Norris movie. We can't
That's
just
fine.
make it
Look, I put as much Chuck Norris information in this because I don't want to do another deep dive into Chuck Norris.
I get it.
Because he might kick me in the nuts.
I kick you in the nuts.
Well, it won't hurt as much as 84, but it makes me really curious to go back and watch some Chuck Norris stuff because is he this bad? I mean...
I want to see the early stuff.
Sure.
Like Good Guys Wear Black.
Yeah.
And because I know I've seen it. I was really young.
Yeah.
I would like to watch it again. I'm curious. Even Firewalker or like Lone Wolf McQuade, like any of those, like it'd be nice to go back and check them out.
Yeah, Firewalker will probably do if we do like a Louis Gossett Jr. month. He deserves it. But
yeah. That and Enemy Mine.
sure, and Officer and Gentleman.
Yeah.
I mean, there's tons of stuff with him. He's
Oh,
such
yeah,
a great
he's great.
actor. But I just don't understand. This was like what? 3 years, 5 years, 6 years.
About 6 years after
you know?
K9 and Turner Hooch.
Well, which is de rigueur for Chuck Norris. It's like 5 years late and $2 short on the acting when he does his chase-ems, his chase 'em ups. You know,
His
bad
bad facsimiles.
Yes, it's like they took all the bad parts of those dog movies. The only thing that they didn't do in this movie was shoot the dog at the end. They didn't.
Yeah.
I don't even know what happened to the dog at the end. Oh no, the dog took. Okay, actually, I love the ending of this movie. I have to say,
So Chuck saves the day. Chuck and the Reno save the day.
The grand boy
And
the
the
grandson.
little
The grand boy.
The grand boy.
The grand boy.
You are the grand boy. They save the day, and you know because what was the other thing is that they're going to set off a bomb. Of course, as soon as Okay, sorry. Let me back up just for a second.
Yeah, it's very complicated.
Chuck Norris tells the cops, there's a bomb at Balboa Park. We have to get there right now. Cue 10-minute sequence of them bottoming out cars for 5 minutes.
Guess what department did not show up?
Yeah.
The bomb squad.
The bomb squad. Even though there was a bomb. And the SWAT guys showed up super late.
Oh, yeah.
But as soon as they showed up, the bad guys were like, we're just going to start shooting.
Yeah.
So they start shooting. The three, Desmond Tutu and the Pope and then the rabbi, they all get into a limousine, and lo and behold, Timothy Bottoms pushes the button, and it doesn't blow it up, set the timer for 6 minutes.
Yeah.
Because that's what you do.
Yeah, because you got to give the hero some time, Adam.
Chuck manages to get under the car, and the first thing he says is, I don't know what I'm doing.
I don't know what I'm doing. And then he's with
the Clyde, the Kusatsu, the police chief.
Yeah.
Who's like, you gotta get out of here. And I was kidding. You gotta get out of here. And he's like, no, I'm gonna stay here because we should both die.
Well, I mean, at least he was there because he's I understand what he's saying. And then it's like, it's the red wire or the blue wire. Again, a trope that has been overused a trillion times. The red wire, the blue wire.
Which one? Which one do I pull?
Do the blue wire. And then I pulled the red wire.
And it just, again, shows how badly edited that movie was because Kyle Kusatsu looks down, sees it, and then they cut back again, and he's still got the wire, and he's like, oh, the red wire. He's like, yeah, I'm never listening to...
He's like, it's a good thing you never listen to me.
Clyde says, yo, you never listen to me. It's like, oh. So... Where was the bomb squad? Why did the SWAT team show up so late? Is San Diego that bad?
San Diego, everybody knows that we don't have a bomb squad there, and we have a lot of hapless cops. It's very much like the Dukes of Hazzard, the cops in that show, just bumbling.
They're just bumbling idiots.
Just a bunch of bumbling dummies. And then you got Chuck Norris, and that's about it. So they of course disarm the bomb.
Right.
The Pope and then Tutu and the rabbi get out, and they're all happy, and they're thankful that the dog and Chuck saved their life.
The day.
Now, earlier in the film, they established...
Oh, yeah. Very early.
Very early in the film that the dog liked to steal the scarves of his first owner.
Yeah. Of Carmine Caridi.
Johnny VSR
Johnny Movie Pirate.
and so...
Which is ironic that you destroyed all my scarves. And it's like, what? You're in San Diego.
Another thing, too, is dogs don't see color. So him going after a red scarf is stupid because the dog doesn't know red from green from blue. It's all kind of gray.
It's a scarf, yeah.
So I laughed out loud and I enjoyed it.
Yes.
That the dog kills the Pope.
No, he didn't die.
Oh, he didn't die?
He just grabs it and strangles him and pulls him down
I thought he
and
choked
then
him to
runs
death.
away. No, I think he's alive.
Well, then forget it.
And I don't even know if he's the Pope.
Well, he did. He stole the scarf, and everybody's like, whoa! And it's just a goofy goonball ending to a stupid movie that had no right to ever be made. It was the stupidest movie. And it's not a fun, bad movie.
No.
Like, whatever that Spiderweb movie, the Madam Web.
Oh, Madam Web.
That's a fun, dumb movie where you can laugh at it. But this movie is just so relentlessly bad and badly shot, badly edited. The ADR, everything about this movie is crap.
Bad.
And
Everything about it's bad.
you just feel like they made this movie to hurt us. And
that was at one point. At one point, it was like this should be offensive to everyone. Even Chuck Norris fans should be offended by this movie.
Yes, because he has no respect for you by making this movie. It is so bad. Look, I know we had a historic show with Hudson Hawk where we did not recommend you watch it.
Yes.
And I was like, well, hopefully that'll be the end of that. But good God, stay the F away from this movie.
And to add insult to injury, we had to watch this on Freevee.
Yes!
And in an 86-minute movie, there were 15 minutes of commercials.
Thank God. That was the most entertaining 15 minutes of the day because it was like, oh, thank God, there's a commercial. We can see some decent acting and editing. And
it was so bad.
The only creature that doesn't come across horrible in this disaster is the dog.
Yeah.
And it's just because the dog is cute, but they don't even cute out the dog and do the little dog things. In all of these movies, they have the dog do some pretty impressive stuff. In Oh Heavenly Dog, dialing the phone and all that stuff. In Canine, all the cute stuff and
him destroying stuff.
Yeah,
and being doggy.
Turner and Hooch grabbing the neck, destroying the thing.
Yeah,
dog's got super personality.
Right.
This poor dog is just there.
Just there, yeah.
And I have never seen a human being with less chemistry with an animal.
Oh, my God.
Than Chuck Norris. It really makes me think that he kills animals.
That he hates animals.
That he hates animals.
Yeah.
I could never picture him with a dog. Maybe he's the greatest animal lover in the world. And
maybe this was him acting.
I don't think so. But but this was god awful. I mean,
this is bad.
What an awful way to end a month. But it sure makes Oh Heavenly Dog seem like
all three of them are Citizen Kane compared to this.
Oh my God, it is the worst movie I've seen in the longest time. I know that I didn't see this movie when it came out.
No.
Thank God.
Well, I mean, this literally killed his theatrical career. He didn't have another theatrical movie until 2008 or something.
Deservedly so. I'm sorry, but deservedly so. It was the laziest, stupidest movie with the worst acting I've seen in the longest time.
And the weird explosions and
the tone to go from beep 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 to guys getting shot in the face. I mean, it just didn't have. You have for 5 minutes, it's a kid's movie.
Yeah.
And then it's a thriller.
And then there's guys running the border and blowing up. And it just, oh my God.
Yeah, those two guys with the C4 and
they just exploded.
And the plot was thin. It was dumb. It was just lazy in every respect. It is just an abomination of a film. It is horrible. It is so bad.
Yeah.
I can't even express the level of badness you're talking here.
Awful. It's so bad that immediately upon finishing viewing, completely forgot that you'd watched the movie.
Not enough weed in the world. Not enough weed in the world to get through this movie with a smile on your face. I do think we need to give Chuck another chance.
Okay. Everybody deserves a second chance.
Because it's really... It is so bad. I can't believe that a person with this dearth of talent could be a star for so long. So it's got to be a fluke. It's got to be some sort of,
I don't know. I guess we'll find out.
Hey, guys. I'm going to kick you in the nuts.
All right. Well, we'll be back. If we survive getting kicked in the nuts, we'll be back next week with our Stepdad show. We'll discuss all the movies we watched this week, along with everything else we've been watching.
This month.
Everything we watched this month.
Because if we discuss everything we watched this week, it's just going to be top dog.
And we just did that, and I'm not doing it again.
Marks, the Beastmaster. Excuse me.
Yeah,
God, that made my whole body explode. The Beastmaster himself.
Yeah. According to the FBI affidavit, Caridi said that he had sent his screeners via FedEx. Whoa.
That's probably Frank Weckler, because he... that's probably Frank Weckler.
Welker.
That's probably Frank Welker. Okay, got our bloop. I was saying, that's probably Frank Welker.
Yeah.
We now return you to your regularly scheduled programming, Moonlighting, already in progress.